Hello and welcome to Our Time. I would have thought by now the people of the planet we live on would have realised the act of aggression towards another country or race would have evolved out of our society. We've all been watching the news about the war in Ukraine and obviously feel horror for the people living there. But how has it affected the young in those countries whose lives are just beginning? We're meeting a young man who left the country at the beginning of the war and now is living here in Australia. Welcome, Daniil.
Hello.
Great. Thank you so much for doing this chat, because I guess we don't really get to see the human face of people like yourself who are being displaced from a country that's home.
Yeah, that's quite tragic.
And difficult for you, no doubt.
Difficult, yeah.
So let's just go back a little while. At the beginning of the war, once the Russians invaded,
Yes.
what was the reaction from your family?
So probably that all starts for all Ukrainians at the same time. It starts like in 4 a.m. That was a night, everyone just sleeping, and just
Suddenly,
everyone just heard explosions. Nobody understand what is that. I probably just woke up and ran down the stairs just to see my parents and just ask what is it. My grandparents just started me. They just saying for me that that's nothing serious. That's
don't worry, go back to bed, go back to sleep.
Just car accident or something like that. But after we heard some more explosions, and after I feel that like earthquake is coming, because we, especially my family, we live so close to airports, and how you maybe know.
Right.
Yeah, on the beginning of all of this, they started bombing airports, and a lot of like military things what was close to my
Were you living in
home
an
too.
apartment block at the time?
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's what's been hit so much, hasn't it
Yes.
been? So, I mean, bigger targets, I suppose.
Yeah, probably.
So how long did it take before, and I'm guessing this, your parents realised that if they didn't get you out of the country, you would get involved fighting back, I guess, and becoming cannon fodder, literally.
That was in first day, and unfortunately we all know about the story of Donetsk and Luhansk regions.
Yes, that's what's happened before.
And what happened there, that young people, like especially like 18s up to 20, they all just doing like these dirty jobs for Russians when they occupied them. So that's what my parents was afraid mostly.
That you would be absorbed into the Russian workforce.
Yes.
In a way to work against your own country, I guess.
Yes, and I was really scared of that. So that's why we realized that in first day we need to go in different country, because I'm 17 and I'm able to, because we all know after you turn 18 and you're a male, you are not allowed to leave Ukraine nowadays, because we have obviously a war. So we took a ticket for a train, and but in the same evening we just have a call that our train is not going to be in town, because Russians, they just bombed all the bridges what comes in my city. So we was just trapped. And yeah.
Well, one thing I'd like to make a point of here is you didn't speak English before you came to Australia.
No, never.
And you've been here for how long?
For maybe 1 year now.
And how did you learn so quickly?
I don't know, probably just experience of talking with others.
But picking up a new language, did you learn English back home?
Yes, but not too much. I probably know a couple of phrases like "Where's the toilet?" and "Hello, my name is Daniil," and that's it. Because education is not bad in Ukraine, but most of people just don't do anything. But yeah.
No, well, why would you? You're living in your country, you're at home.
Yeah, I never thought that I would live in an English-speaking country, so yeah.
Yes, amazing. So just getting back to the circumstance. So you're 17 years old. What happened? You obviously got out somehow, not on that train, but how did you leave?
Oh, that was very scary, because we have no electricity, no gas, no other things for maybe a month. And after we realized that my birthday would be in the next couple of months and I would be just trapped there forever, I don't want that. And my parents decided to go with Mariupol's queue of cars. So at that time...
Just explain that. They wanted to go...
They want to go in Zaporizhia, but to go in Zaporizhia, we need to go with Mariupol's car. That's people who just escaped from Mariupol. That's disaster what happened there. Maybe you heard about that too.
Yep.
The city is fully bombed, so that's city like more than 1 million people there lives, but now they all should go from their hometown because they just bombed fully. Like, so yeah.
We see it on the news. We see what happened on the news. It's actually very hard to put your mind into the state of mind of the people living there. We see older women crying. We see mothers with babies absolutely displaced from what has been home.
That's completely different from you see on the news, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah, that's completely different.
In what way?
Because in a bad way.
In a bad way.
Because all what you see on the news, that's the soft part of all what happening around. A lot of people just killing in bags. A lot of people just stomped. That's so bad. And probably news not going to show that because that's a very sensitive content.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
There's only so much of, frankly, dead bodies that you can show.
But in real life, when you saw that with your own eyes, that's much more scary and that's afraid.
Because it's home.
Yes.
The place you're supposed to feel safe.
Yeah.
Yep, you don't. So you got out, and what happened next?
How I go out, that's probably a big story too, because we went from 2 cities, and that's just a 200 kilometers away, but we spent on that maybe 3 days, 4 days, because that was a very big line of cars, and all of them was afraid.
And it was like a traffic jam, I imagine.
Yeah, and at the same time, when we was so close to Ukrainian and Russians, like military, there was a field full of mines. So that's why we was so not quickly, just to not be killed. So yeah, after I went to Zaporizhia, I go to a different city on a train, that's COVID. And after that, I went to Poland.
So were you with family then, or friends?
Just with my mom.
Just with your mum?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is she now?
She now in Germany. I don't know which city particularly, but yeah, she's okay. She now getting her education on German language.
Right.
So yeah, everything is good. But I want to say that I still have how 1 million people from Ukraine, we still have a lot of relatives in Ukraine, in occupied area, and they just cannot escape. Like my grandparents, they still in Berdiansk. We have no connection with them for a long time, but I hope that everything is okay with them.
Yes, that was going to be another question. Can you contact them? I guess you can't.
You can contact, but that's very hard because that's usually in some particular time when they have internet or other sort of communication. But mostly
and when
Russians,
they have electricity as well.
And electricity as well, yeah. So that's just very hard to connect with them. But usually we have a connection like maybe every 2 weeks with them.
Okay.
So yeah.
And your father? Where is he?
My father in Turkey. My parents are been divorced for quite a long time. So I
they're
don't
in
know.
different places.
Yeah, they're in
That's
different
okay,
places.
as long as they're not still there.
Yeah.
So why Australia? Why did you end up coming here, and how did you come here?
Whew. That's a tough question. Okay. Back in Poland, when I've been with my classmate, I lived with him maybe for the next 3 or 4 days when I escaped from Ukraine. And he just lived in Australia before for quite a while because his stepfather, he's Aussie. He's a very old Aussie guy, and that's why his family, they all got a permanent residence and got a visa. And he just told me that that's a good idea if I can just live with him, and I just, why not? I can move in Australia, because I see no opportunities of living in Germany or other countries in Europe.
Because so many people, or
Because so many people, because no opportunities to get a good education, because how many people in this country now, and bad salaries probably too, because I need to live on something, and
Of course.
Australia, that's one of the best options what I got. And I'm very happy that now I'm in Australia, because now I have a decent job, I have money, I rent in a room, so everything is okay. And I still can just send some money for my family back in Ukraine.
right? But really, everything isn't okay because you're not home.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm just telling everything is okay, because I'm alive.
Oh, you're alive, yes.
I have
exactly.
clothes, I have food, I have electricity. That's very little things, but they're very important after you survive the circumstances before.
I understand.
So yeah, I'm just happy.
Yeah, just hold that thought. We'll be back in a moment. We're just talking to Daniil about the feelings that he's got coming to a strange country that he knew virtually nothing about. We'll be back in a moment. We're talking with Daniil, who is literally a refugee from the Ukraine. So, Daniil, you're still in Europe, and how did you get to Australia? Did you fly over?
Yeah.
How did that
was
happen?
quite funny, because my mother, how I told you before, she is a director of some traveling company.
Right.
So yeah, and she found a very cheap like tickets for only maybe $400 to Australia.
Oh,
from
really?
Europe.
To get to Australia?
Yeah, but I have like literally nothing. So
Yes. Well, that's another point.
yeah.
Clothes and personal things, photos.
Oh, I have only one
computers.
rucksack, and that's it.
That's
Yeah.
leaving home with nothing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I got all my stuff are still in Ukraine, but that's okay.
So, did you read English before?
Yes.
You did. So, like coming to an airport, you knew where you were going, or
That was very hard. Like, I ask everyone with translator, can you just explain me what I need to do? Because I don't understand anything.
so you had a translator on your
Yeah.
phone. From what language to?
From Ukrainian to
Ukrainian.
English. Yeah.
Okay, so you spoke Ukrainian,
I spoke Ukrainian and Russian,
and you,
like fluently.
did you basically have to learn Russian as part of living in Ukraine because of the influence?
I just know that because of influence.
Yeah.
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 Probably Ukrainians know a lot of languages. We understand a lot of Slavic languages
Yes.
because they all quite similar.
Similar,
but
yeah.
we don't speak them. For
No,
example, I
I
understand.
understand that.
Yeah, you understand.
Okay, so you've come here to Australia and you were staying with a family initially? Was that what happened?
Yeah, I stayed with my classmates' family for maybe a month, but after I just realized that that's not my place. That was not really comfortable to me to live there. But that's okay. They still are very good people, and I really appreciate for what they done for me.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and after that, I just met with Liliana. You know her, and she's an amazing woman. She helped me a lot, and I really appreciate her for all what she done for me. So, yeah.
But now you've managed to find a job,
Yeah,
but you still want to get more education.
of course. In future, if I would get a permanent residence in Australia or some sort of other visa where I can get an education, I would love to go in university, and I would love to do astrophysics, because that's what I want to do back in my country.
Right.
But my parents told me that you don't have a lot of opportunities to do that in Ukraine. Like the only way.
Well, you probably do here because of the space agency that we've got here.
In Ukraine, we don't really have a big like space and other stuff things.
No, the big space
yeah.
program, like most of the world now is starting to build on, I guess.
Yeah. So the best opportunities what do you have in Ukraine is just to be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher.
Okay. So I suppose here's a bit of a curly question, because if people in my age and older think back, Hitler had this same effect from Germany during the Second World War.
Yes.
Putin appears to be doing exactly the same thing, trying to take over more and more land and become in a way, another Tsar. How do you see it?
I see that Russia is probably empire. That's why empires got only two states: when they demolished and when they growing. So to not be destroyed, they need to occupy more and more areas. And how we know, from before, Russia occupied a lot of areas, like from Greece, from Moldova, from Ukraine, from
All the countries that
yeah,
bordered.
all the countries are border.
That were at
They
one
have a lot of
point,
wars.
that were absorbed at one point in history as part of the USSR.
Yes. They want to recreate this USSR, I probably think, but I don't really know. That's something in their mad minds.
But you must, human beings tend to want to lay the blame at somebody's feet.
Yeah.
Is it Putin that we should be laying the blame at? And do the people of Russia have any concept of what's happening in the rest of the world and the antagonism against them?
Not only Putin do that. Not only Putin now shooting my people in Ukraine. That's all doing Russians. So obviously...
They're people like you
yeah.
who are being pushed into a war.
I've been under a gun a lot of times when I tried to go in a different country, when I tried to escape from my city. So yeah, I think that people in Russia, they just... how bad it sounds, but they love to be slaves. They love to be under this Putin's...
Is that because of the previous communist rule, though?
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
They don't know how to live like differently.
Freely.
Yeah.
They live as puppets.
And that's the main difference between Ukrainians and Russians.
Right.
Because we like freedom. We like to fight against someone who just wanted to take our freedom. That's how it was in 2014 on Maidan. So people in Ukraine, they don't want to be with Russia. They want to be close to Europe.
Yes.
That's why back in 2014, we just took our president away because he wants to be close to Russia and we don't want to. So yeah, that's just showed us Ukrainians like a free people who like freedom, and that's it.
Yes. Did you have an interest in politics as you were growing up? Were you conscious of what was going on?
I was not really interested in politics until maybe 2014.
Right.
Because when all of this
we should go backwards, because what happened in 2014? I'm aware of this, by the way.
Okay. In 2014, Russia just take Crimea and take Donetsk, some part of Donetsk and Luhansk region. And because my city was like on this gap between these two areas, we heard a lot of explosions even there. Probably from 2014, I start educate myself in this all of this politics thing, because I just probably heard of all of these explosions and all of this stuff, and that's just deeply in my mind. That's why we help. For example, my uncle, he now in Ukrainian forces, and he been in Ukrainian forces before, like from 2010. So we help him a lot because he just on this border with Russia, like probably right now. So yeah, we help him a lot. And the main thing, what I just want to say that I'm very lucky. I'm really very lucky that I'm here. I know every family in Ukraine now suffering from something because all of this happens. And you need to understand that war is not ended. If you don't see that in use, that doesn't mean that it's ended, it's all gone. No, people still suffering. Hundreds of people dying like every day. And that's so bad. And we need to do something with that. That's why this donation for Ukrainian forces and all of that, that's not bad. That's why we need to help Ukrainians who are the refugee there. I'm not talking about myself. I'm very good. I'm in a very good situation. I'm talking about others. Yeah. And that's why what I don't really understand. Firstly, when I saw that you have a lot of news about Ukraine with all of that starts, but now you don't have that. But it's still going.
Yes. I think we're very aware of that a war doesn't just stop
No.
either. There's repercussions that go on and on. There's the poisons that may have been, given in gases or whatever that have come off different things. There's the fact of re-establishing power grids. All of the things that in today's society we accept as being normal. I get it. And again, anybody in my age group would have gone through the pointless war in Vietnam. And so I guess some of us realise how pointless that was, because we have never had a war in this country. We've been this separate country in a way to the rest of the populated world, and we've been safe. And actually where we are at the bottom of Australia, we're even safer because we're further away from our nearest neighbours as it is. Unless, of course, Tasmania goes to war with the rest of the country, but that's a joke. But the point is, for all of us, we just can't really understand what you guys must be going through. And to have been able to get out, it's sad for your country, but thank goodness you had a country to come to that would accept you.
Yep.
It's just very sad too to understand that the Russian population, clearly there are people that do get what's going on and are starting to rise up.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them, but clearly there are people there,
Yeah.
and they're being squashed almost instantly that they comment on what's going on.
Yeah.
The rest of the world leaders standing up without creating a world war. Everyone's sort of standing back saying, we'll help you, but at a distance. I understand that, because the great fear is that if we engage, the Russians will go everywhere.
Yes.
Or try to go everywhere. What none of us actually know, though, is what their stockpiles are, how long they'll be able to do this in a country that it's not third world by any stretch of the imagination, but they must be running out of funds and artillery and all of those things, and the fighters are getting younger and younger.
We hope so.
Yeah, Daniil, thank you so much. Sorry about my long speech
That's
there,
okay,
but
yeah.
thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your honesty about how you feel, and we can only wish you personally the best of luck in this country.
Can I just say a couple of words?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to say, support Ukraine. All the people need to know that Russia is a terrorist state, and we all should just accept it. And Slava Ukraini.
Thank you so much. And we're going to be back in a tick with a completely different story, which actually is set overseas, but at the top of Africa. And welcome back to Our Time. Earlier this year, I was in Morocco and went to some of the cities in Morocco, including Fez. Fez is a fascinating place, and we stayed in the old city. The old city is full of tunnels, roadways that are literally tunnels that are up and down hills. And of course, people live off the tunnels, and there are a lot of shops off the tunnels. And a lot of the shops are looking for any tourists. And we walked into this shop, which had carpets, beautiful handmade carpets. And they were explaining to us that these carpets, particularly this size, could have taken up to 10 years for women to make. And it was their job to make the carpets. Well, after quite a show, and the fact that we didn't want to buy a carpet because we couldn't bring it home on the plane, I happened to say, well, I do a TV program in Australia, and I'm sure the Australians would love to see some of your beautiful carpets. And so he made a commercial, and this is it.
Hi guys, this is Najib from Morocco, from Cooperative of Carpets in Fez. Try to come from all over the world to see the amazing carpet that our ladies, divorced ladies, widows, housewives, they are making, Arabic, Berbers, and a Jewish beautiful. I wish to you a good new year, happy new year for 2023, and don't hesitate to come to Morocco and in Dar Zawiya in Fez. Thank you very much.
And that's exactly what happened in Fez. Just something I thought you might like to see, because he was so honest and so proud of his product. And sometimes when we're overseas and talking with people in their stores, we sort of try and dismiss everything. But this was just one way of saying thank you for a wonderful display and show of all of your wares that you sold. And sorry we couldn't bring them back to Australia, but that was my moment in Fez, and that's my time on Our Time. Thanks. Keep yourself nice till next time we see you.